For the first time this season, the loaded-up preseason favorite San Diego Seals against the retooled Saskatchewan Rush. It's the West Conference on ESPN Plus and TSN.ca, and it starts right now. For the first time in 6 months, lacrosse is back in San Diego, live from Pechanga Arena, as the Saskatchewan Rush make the trip down south to take on the San Diego Seals in an early season West Conference battle. Hi everyone, we welcome you inside the broadcast booth at Pechanga Arena. He is the former Notre Dame star and San Diego Seal Nick Acello. I'm Cooper Perkins. Rain Michaels will join us from the floor shortly. Partner, it's only week 2, but this game does have the possibility to mean quite a bit when it's all said and done this season.
The two best teams in the West, in my opinion, certainly the two most explosive offenses. Don't be surprised if at the end of the year, when we're seeing who's going to secure home field advantage for the playoffs, we are reminiscing on the outcome of tonight's matchup.
A tiebreaker is always so important, but let's wind things back. The offseason was huge, especially for San Diego. Their two big pieces they added, Kevin Crowley and Curtis Dixon, were huge last week.
Kevin Crowley, they call him the big cat for a reason, a physical specimen. He bullies his way to the lethal parts of the floor and uses his stick skills to score. And meanwhile, you have Curtis Dixon, one of the quickest players in the league, a little thunder, a little lightning, and certainly an electric offense for all of the fans at Pechanga Arena to enjoy tonight.
Yeah, they combined for 7 out of the 15 Seals goals last weekend. The big issue is trying to figure out how to assimilate all these parts into the offense. Rain Michaels caught up with offensive coordinator Josh Sanderson, whose job is to figure that question out.
Thanks, Cooper. Coach, coming off of last week's stellar offensive performance, 7 goals from the 2 new guys, how do you continue to integrate them into this already stacked offense?
Well, just kind of build off last week's performance, right? We're starting to build our chemistry. A lot of them haven't played together a lot of minutes yet, so I think the more we play together, the better things are going to keep going, but it definitely was a nice start last weekend.
Thanks, Coach. Good luck tonight.
Thanks, Rain. Appreciate it.
Back to you guys.
For Saskatchewan, they did not turn their roster over a lot, but they do have the same pieces back in place. The big difference, though, is this team looks like they found their joy again.
A great start for the Saskatchewan offensive unit, with Church having 4 goals and Lintner having 4 goals a match, but it starts with Mark Matthews, the best quarterback in the NLL. He tees his teammates up for success, and you nailed it right there. The biggest difference is the celebrations. The energy is palpable. This is a team that's having fun and reminding us of some of those dominant Saskatchewan offensive units of years past.
It's 2 teams that very well could be there at the end of the season. It starts right now on ESPN Plus and TSN.ca. Face Off is next. Welcome to San Diego for week 2 of the NLL season. The Saskatchewan Rush 1-0 off an 18-6 thrashing of Colorado, and the 1-0 San Diego Seals, who squeaked out a 15-14 win in New York. They're back. There's Jimmy Quinlan. Still hasn't lost as a head coach, having a fantastic run to start off his term as the head man for the Saskatchewan Rush. As Patrick Merrill, still the only coach in San Diego Seals history, comes in with a 27-22 overall record in his 4th season at the helm. Time for our guaranteed rate starting goaltenders. For San Diego, it's Big Frank Chiliano, the 30-year-old, 11th season in the NLL, coming off a game in which he gave up 14 against New York, trying to bounce back after a shaky 4th quarter at Nassau Coliseum. And for Saskatchewan, Alex Bouquet, his 1st season with the franchise, was fantastic last week with the win over Colorado, an .875 save percentage as the Rush start the season 1-0. Scratches for tonight, Clark Walter and Josh Courier for Saskatchewan. And for the Seals, Jacob Dunbar and Jake Govitz. It'll be Mike Messenger facing off against the rookie Danny Logan. Cooper Perkins, Nick Acello, Rain Michaels, our whole crew live for Pechanga Arena in beautiful San Diego, as we are ready to go. First possession of the night belongs to San Diego, as Ryan Dilks all over the back. Brody Merrill and takes it away. Westberg up with it. Half the shot clock gone, though. So San
What a
Diego's going to have
scrap to start this game. Danny Logan, one of the best defenders in the outdoor game, translating well to the indoor. Looks like this is going to be a battle if that opening faceoff has anything to say about it.
With the shot clock winding down, Dobie just gets one away. So we'll get our first look here at Saskatchewan's offense.
Really exciting stuff. The ball movement that they exhibited last week was awesome to watch. Look for Matthews to try and get 9 assists like he did last week.
Yeah, the last time these teams got together in April of last season, Matthews put up 9 points on 1 goal and 8 assists. Both teams coming off wins to open the season. You figure they'll probably be there towards the top of the conference, if not at the top when the season's over. And a bad turnover, it's a breakaway. Matt Beers, 1-on-none. Beers, stopped by Chiliano, the first big save of the night.
Huge stop by Frank Chiliano. And I would say that in the 5-on-5 straight-up matchup, the Seals have the advantage. So look for Saskatchewan to be trying to take advantage of opportunities like that. What a stop.
Build on that. Why do they have an advantage there?
Well, I think that the starting 5 offensive players for San Diego are the best in the league. I don't think that anybody can argue that. So they want to have the structured 5-on-5. Meanwhile, while Saskatchewan's offense is good, they want to get opportunities like that more so than San Diego.
Dobie with 5 to shoot, works it over to Dixon. Tried to go low to high, and they're going to run out of time here. Dixon did get one away, but Bouquet was there to make the save.
Curtis Dixon, so crafty to watch. We touched on it in the open, but what a quick first step. And even when you get all over his hands, he has the ability to get a shot on cage.
Dan Lintner coming off a 4-goal night, his high from the last couple of seasons. Lintner shoots, save with the shoulder of Chiliano. And a long rebound. It's the second-year Patrick Shumay, who made a name for himself in the playoffs last season. One thing that stands out, San Diego thus far has only had about 10 seconds in the shot clock to work with.
Yeah, they're going to want to get out and get settled. We talked about them having a slight advantage in the 5-on-5 as Mac O'Keefe gets a shot off, and a good shot at that. They want to get out and get opportunities and settled early.
Working it through Dinsdale, gets a screen, shoots, saved again. That's always so big for Chiliano, those early stops. San Diego trying to run a little bit. Merrill will slow it down, but if he gets some confidence, it's a huge sign for San Diego.
I think it's fair to say that he's a hot and cold goalie, and when he's hot, especially in the first half, he's proven to be one of the best goalies in this entire league.
Berg working through a 2-man game. Rather a double team, I should say. Casey Jackson with 8 to shoot. Jackson by himself, a big save for Bouquet. Both goaltenders showing up here early in the first quarter.
And that's a big save by Bouquet because the defense was broken down after the loose ball because Westberg's pass got knocked down. Casey Jackson seized the opportunity, and Bouquet with the surprisingly athletic save going from left to right and getting that stick side glove up to stop the shot.
Yeah, Bouquet has been really good against San Diego, especially the last couple of seasons. Both offenses struggling to find their rhythm early in this one, as Drew Belgrave gets it across the timeline and swings it to Cam Holding.
A little sloppy to start on the offenses, but look for the defense to slow down a little bit. Usually the energy feeds off of the defense first, and then when things get settled in, they can get into more of a flow.
Just under 10 on the shot clock. It's Dixon, defended by Searle. A big shot from Crowley off the rebound. It was Berg, and he swats it beautifully to the corner for Casey Jackson. That's what Westberg does so well, heady plays.
And what a great heads-up play to knock the ball out. Don't try to go for it. You had 3 defenders around you. Knock it to Casey Jackson.
Berg gets underneath. Berg had a good look, but Bouquet held his pipe. And now Saskatchewan trying to get ahead and run with Jared Smith. It's Lintner. A couple of good looks, but so far goaltending making a big difference the first almost 5 minutes. Both teams scored 15 plus last week in a big offensive weekend in the NLL. Matthews for Church, one more back to Matthews. He gets double teamed and Matt Sykes strips him. Here's Eli Gobrecht with the loose ball. Gobrecht, a 2-on-1 with Leclaire. It's Leclaire. He scores! We thought Saskatchewan would have the transition advantage, but the first goal of the night is for San Diego in a 2-on-1 fast break.
And you love to see it from Trey Leclerc. First off, what a loose ball by Eli Gobrecht, and the hustle is what gives this goal opportunity. He makes the pass to Trey Leclerc, who is getting better. I noticed in training camp, he's getting better at finishing these one-on-one opportunities, has a slight twister and sneaks it past Bouquet, and a goal that's going to really spark this San Diego unit, both offense and defense. That is a spark plug of a goal to kick off the scoring for the Seals.
Yeah, if they can get some offense from Trey Leclerc in transition, this team's going to be huge this season.
I think he's one of the better athletes in the NLL. Actually got an invite to be on the Olympic team for Team Canada Rugby. Found that out last year. So he has the speed, he has the strength, and as he develops that scoring capability, I think he could really develop into one of the premier transition players in this league.
Yeah, once upon a time, Leclerc, the 4th overall pick. But you're talking to transition players, he's as good as they come on the other side for Saskatchewan.
He really is, and the San Diego Seals know that, which is why we see Saskatchewan pushing. And if you get Messenger with the ball in a stick running up the floor, that's red alert for everybody wearing purple tonight.
So they've been reviewing the goal, I guess, without telling anybody. Or they're going to review it, I should say. So I think we're having an issue with the replay system. That's Mike Grace, the San Diego Seals Director of Game Presentation, who does a beautiful job here at Pechanga Arena. And it seems like they're trying to get things sorted out for the replay monitor. Let's build on Leclerc. Taking steps from year 1 to year 2, what are the things you usually look for?
What I liked about him from year 1 was his ability to embrace a role. A lot of players, when they are the offensive threat and they get moved to a more defensive transition role, they take offense to that. As we see,
so here's the goal that they want to take a look at.
Let's see what they're reviewing in the first place.
So pipe and it's in. There's not much of a question as to whether or not Leclerc or Gobrecht was in the crease. That's a clear, good goal.
Yeah, I like that Leclerc is leveraging some of his offensive prowess that I think they expected him to be more of an offensive contributor, realized what an athlete he is and said, hey, he could be one heck of a transition player, and for exactly reasons like that as he gets the first goal in Pechanga for the Seals this year.
So if you're just joining us, San Diego Seals lead 1-0 on Trey Leclerc's transition goal. Off a fast break alongside Eli Gobrecht. Right now taking a look to make sure that it was in fact a goal. San Diego and Saskatchewan both 1-0 coming in tonight. We talked about it a little bit at the top of the broadcast. It's early, it's just week 2, but the game is important.
I firmly believe that, and I think Saskatchewan really taking it to defending champion Colorado Mammoth last week was a telltale sign that they're back as we finally get ready for a little more lacrosse.
You mentioned last week's game, the Rush were up 6-0 before Colorado even scored. They ran away with that one and comfortably 18-6.
An impressive performance.
So the Rush now looking for an answer. They'll work it on the left side. It's Paulus now coming up a career best game. He scores. So Paulus, now with a goal in 5 straight dating back to last season, put up a career-high 6 points against Colorado, and they just lost him on defense.
What I'm impressed with by the start is the off-ball movement from the Saskatchewan offense. When they come off of the bench, they are flying and trying to cause chaos for this San Diego unit, and you can see that Gamble's just a little bit late in his approach. And with that shot around the defender, it makes it very hard for goaltender Chiliano to get a read on that. Trickles in, and we got a tie ball game.
Now, Paulus is one of the youngest players on the floor tonight, just 22 years old in his 2nd season. As Eric Keenan and company think he is potentially a very special player, but was really interesting coming out of his draft year, having only played Junior B. Granted, he put up ridiculous numbers at Junior B, but still, you wonder about that transition.
Well, I think it's a testament to the quality of Junior B. Now, don't get it mixed up just by Junior B. There are still some really, really good players.
Logan and Messenger to face after the answer by Paulus has us tied at 1. Illegal procedure as Messenger jumped, so San Diego will have possession. After a quick timeout here in San Diego, 9:32 to go here in the first quarter. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on ESPN Plus and TSN.ca. More to come after this. Alma Fanatics Experience, officially licensed everything. Also by Guaranteed Rate. Now more than ever, you need the best. About 5 minutes gone in the first, tied at 1. Partner, what are you looking for right now out of the timeout?
I think even in the first 5 minutes, we saw the offenses calm down, get into their sets, and start trusting their stick work a little bit more.
The one goal for San Diego was on a 2-on-1 fast break. This offense that scored 10 even-strength goals last week. Dixon gets it away and a save for Bouquet. But they have yet to create a whole lot on the offensive end.
Great off-ball movement. Westberg and Curtis Dixon playing beautifully on the backside.
Messenger stays on to play a little bit of offense. He'll do that sometimes. And now Sask gets their personnel on the floor. Dinsdale, who was huge last week, inside. Keenan scores! How about the feed from Mark Matthews?
He is just such a good quarterback. The general of the Saskatchewan offense, Mark Matthews, when the ball is in his stick, it must be really fun to be an off-ball player when you have Matthews with the ball, because if there is even a glimmer, a thread, Mark Matthews is going to thread that needle. And what a play. That inside roll catches Trey Leclerc a little bit and then buries it in the top right corner. Beautiful execution on the pass, beautiful execution on the finish.
Now, Keaton, 3 goals last week, picks up where he left off. And he's a player that took a huge step forward last season after kind of taking some time adjusting into the league. He's now in his 6th year, kind of the point where you see guys really grow into themselves. Westberg was that guy last year. Keenan has a chance to be that guy for Saskatchewan this year.
And I think the offensive build of this Saskatchewan team last year, no surprise they had a bit of a down year, missed the playoffs, so they were looking for different people to step up. I think he did a good job getting more confident, and I don't think that's a play he would have made 2 years ago, but now they're really starting to mesh. They're like, Matthews is going to be looking for that inside roll, whereas he might have not executed that 2 years ago.
Beers comes up with it and gets crunched up against the board. Back-to-back goals for the Rush have them out in front for the first time tonight. That was the first time they trailed this season after leading wire-to-wire against Colorado last week. Now Keenan has them back in front.
How many times have we seen that? Seemingly a cloud of dust being kicked up on a huge loose ball scrum. Who comes out with it? Brody Merrill.
He has built a life out of it. Dane Doby on the near side, 10 to shoot for San Diego. Doby going right at Rubish, and he gets swallowed up. Talked the worst of the shot to his chin. And here comes Saskatchewan.
Didn't seem like the Seals offensive player set a hard pick for Doby to get open, as we see a good one-on-one opportunity. And good defense by Wesley Berg right there, of all players. He is an athlete, don't forget it.
Matthews looking.
That's the kind of shot you want to give up, a low-angle shot that Frankie is going to eat up, even though Matthews is one of the most dangerous in the game. That's a shot that you're okay with. No movement, just a low-angle shot.
Here's Mac O'Keefe getting comfortable in the box game this season. O'Keefe swings it back and has it taken away. Now an outlet pass to Messenger. He wants to run. Messenger with Berg back on defense. It's Messenger. And a big stop by Shiliano.
What an acrobatic save by Frank Shiliano. He was caught out of position and twirled his stick around behind his back to stop that. What a stop.
Oh, now San Diego trying to get their offense on. They're only going to have 8 seconds to work with. It's Dixon. Spins a wide shot. And Rubish collects the loose ball. And 6:45 to go in the first. 2-1. Saskatchewan back-to-back goals. Garland off the shoulder of Shiliano.
And this must be part of Saskatchewan's game plan, is push and transition and get those opportunities. They've been getting them, but Frank Shiliano has stood up on his head.
Matthews surveys. Lintner fires it off Shiliano, and there's Jesse Gamble who comes up with the loose ball. What a fun story Gamble is. Stepped away from the game for 5 years, focusing on other areas of his life, and now back at 32 years young.
a freak athlete. After practices, he's running sprints and getting extra conditioning, and he is an ageless wonder.
Dobie. And he has it swatted out of his stick by Jared Smith, one of the fun stories on this Saskatchewan team. Now pushing ahead, it's Boudreau. Boudreau posting, fires, and a wild shot into the corner.
Boy, gotta say, I've been very impressed with Wes Berg getting back. He's made some significant stops, and again, highlighting his athleticism, he finds himself playing defense and does a pretty good job.
They've worked the offense primarily through Dane Dobie so far. They're using Dixon as their lead man this time down the floor. Dobie, saved by Bouquet, and Messenger collects it to make it a one-shot trip. Not a lot of quality looks the last 5 or so minutes for San Diego. Beers pushing ahead. Beers misses wide.
And it looks like Saskatchewan's really taking advantage of these one-on-none opportunities, and it looks like the Seals are more comfortable giving up those ones than really trying to get into that 5-on-5 situation. Interesting strategy so far tonight.
Dixon looking. Back to Dixon. 5-3 last week in the win over New York. Lets it go right into Bouquet's chest. Off the rebound. A diving look by Trey Leclerc, who owns the one Seals goal. And with that at 4:42, we'll step aside for immediate timeout. Saskatchewan 2, San Diego 1. You're watching the NLL on TSN.ca and ESPN Plus. More after this. Welcome back to San Diego. Ray Michaels down between the benches with Saskatchewan head coach Jimmy Quinlan.
Thanks, guys. Coach, you're 5-0 since taking over. How do you keep that winning streak going tonight?
Oh, I think we just tonight we something.
Thank you so much for your time.
Have a nice night.
Guys, back to you.
Peek at Frank Chiliano, who's had a nice start to the evening, Nick. Good goaltending on both sides.
And good goaltending in important moments. Frank Chiliano is really doing a good job in those transition opportunities that could be a breaking point in this first quarter. And meanwhile, Alex Bouquet has done a fantastic job when the Seals get that rare, vulnerable chance opportunity. They haven't gotten very many good ones. When they have, Bouquet's been there on his head.
Saskatchewan back-to-back goals. Mark Matthews assisted on the last one, works it up to Dinsdale. Now Church coming off a 4-goal evening last weekend. Skip past it, a moving pick. San Diego will take over.
Good off-ball movement, but sometimes you just jam them a little too hard in the back. Ref's going to call that.
And a delayed penalty means San Diego's going to get an extra attacker on. The first 6-on-5 of the evening is the Seals trying to pull things even. Trey Leclerc has their one goal in a transition opportunity. Berg and O'Keefe working up top. Wes Berg, a couple of goals last week. Spins for Dobie, shoots off Bouquet. And there's Rubish to end the possession and send us to what will be an extra man power play for San Diego. So they get them on the technicality, illegal substitution. And San Diego gets their first power play. They went 1 for 3 last week, Nick, but really looked good in the process despite not capitalizing 3 times.
The talent on this power unit is undeniable. So look for them to just share the ball a little bit more and again settle in and trust their sticks and the ball to do the work, not any individual.
Berg and Dobie working up top. Berg for Dixon, steps in, shoots, and Bouquet is there for another save. I don't know what it is about Alex Bouquet and playing the San Diego Seals, but he brings out his best anytime there's purple across from him.
Been playing angles really well. If you see some of these shots, they're not terrible shots, but he is only giving a very, very small space for these Seals scorers to put one in the back of the net. So credit to Bouquet for his first quarter here so far.
6 to shoot for Saskatchewan. Madronic swings it trying to find a teammate, and it's loose in the corner. Here's Brody Merrill to take over. And we're going to get a little scrap going.
Looks like we got a little hey, how are you in the corner. Nothing crazy, just a little face wash, never hurt nobody.
The Seals, who put up 10 even-strength goals last week, that thanks to a project by Ty Merrow from Lacrosse Flash, who's tracking those numbers this year. Dixon for Doby. Out in front, it's Berg, but another save for Bouquet. Goes left to right and gets in front of it, and now Garland gets it across for Saskatchewan. It was great ball movement, though.
It was. Doby finding Berg, no stranger to anybody that knows the history between those two. And again, I'd like to credit Bouquet for good movement going left to right as we see a shot. And what San Diego can't do is get discouraged. That is a good look. You want to continue to get those. They will eventually fall, but don't try to make the hero play. That was a good look. Don't overthink it.
San Diego on a power play. Another 15 seconds after the illegal substitution. Berg up top with Dixon. Sets a pick. Dixon hands free. Goes low to high and misses upstairs. And we're going to be back at even strength coming out of the box with Boudreau slowing things down. Shot from Madronic, saved by Chiliano.
And that was a 2-on-3. There were 2 Rush players and 3 Seals defensemen. I talked about how they need to get out and get organized earlier in this quarter. That is a textbook example of not communicating early in the possession, and it very well could have cost them.
Final minute and a half of the first quarter. Doby in a 2-man game with O'Keefe. Posts in up. Swings it over to Berg. One more. This time it's Crowley, the big cat, towards the middle of the floor. 5 to shoot. Doby swings back for Crowley underneath. Crowley. And a shot clock violation. Good defense that time from Saskatchewan.
That's good defense. It wasn't San Diego not doing anything right. They found their matchups, and I like that they were not giving San Diego any time to get set up or any space to move the ball around. They were forcing the tempo right there.
Dinsdale worked out of a double team. Now it's Church up top. Defended by Brody Merrill, a couple of 17s looking back at each other in a mirror. Matthews for Church, looking for the quick stick. And now under a minute to play. San Diego a chance for 2 possessions. Out of the box, off the post, Curtis Dixon.
What a great pass by Brody Merrill. Puts it right on the skinny post in the breadbasket and off the crossbar. An unfortunate break, but again, you can't get discouraged because that didn't go in. The Seals are starting to get better looks consistently.
So they'll hold for what essentially should be the last shot. The game and shot clock separated by about 3 seconds. Doby and Berg working things up top. San Diego has not scored in offense tonight. Their 1 goal coming on a breakaway. Shot from Crowley misses wide. And Messenger with 3 seconds to wing it full length of the floor and end the first quarter. 2-1, Saskatchewan Rush on top of the San Diego Seals, as the offensive explosion we expected might have to wait a little bit longer. But Trey Leclerc, a nice goal here in the first, and a couple from Marshall Powless and Ryan Keenan. We'll have more coming up after a break. You're watching the ESPN coverage of the NLL. 15 minutes down, and partner, not the offense we expected to see. Just 3 goals between the 2 teams.
Certainly not, and I think a lot of it comes down to getting settled. It seems like the San Diego offense, when they start running some of their plays, there's only 15 seconds left in the shot clock, and when you don't have enough time, you're only going to put up 1 goal, and then good goaltending play on both sides.
How do they put themselves in a position to have more shot clock time and put together a more settled possession offensively?
Well, it's going to sound very cliche, but I think there's going to be some truth to it, is you just focus on the little things. The defense sprinting off of the floor as soon as there's a turnover so that the offense players can get on the floor and get settled. The offensive players sprinting out of the boards, just hustle. Just hustle out there and get set and know that you're one of the most dangerous 5-on-5 teams in the league. Lean into that.
Trey Leclerc, the 1 goal for San Diego on a 2-on-1 fast break. And then a couple of goals for Saskatchewan. Marshall Powless and Ryan Keenan. Here's the Seals Cove, always a good time. DJ mixing and bumping it. But he's not playing levels, which is disappointing.
No, you'd love to, you know, I requested levels 15 times in a row. He kicked me out of the set, and now I'm back in the booth.
But you know who did play levels today? Me, in the car on the way here to the stadium.
No, that was for me. He just texted me, said that was for me, not for you, as we get a little second quarter action going.
Well, the Rush will have their first look. And this team, though, just looks so different from the one that started the season struggling last year. They finished the year on a 4-game winning streak. They dominated Colorado last week. This looks like the Rush dynasty of a couple of years ago.
It really does. They're just having fun with it. Ball's moving. You see after every goal, the bench gets excited. And again, when you have the talent of Mark Matthews and the weapons surrounding him, it's making good lacrosse.
One thing that is a note on their defense, though, they're short on lefties. So a lot of times you're going to see Kyle Rubish and Matt Beers playing the wrong side of their handedness. Berg tried to go behind the back to Dixon, but had it touched off. Chris Corbeil, a big loss in the back for them. They've gotten a little younger and more athletic, though.
Yeah, and you have your pillars. You have the veteran guys that can teach that younger group what to do.
Madronic, one of the young guys, couldn't beat Chiliano. Had a great career at Harvard, playing the field game. And now San Diego will get into their offense. They have not scored since the 9:55 mark in the first. More than 10 minutes of scoreless lacrosse for the Seals. Dobie gets a screen from O'Keefe, flips it. O'Keefe gets hammered and lost the ball. Got it back with 3 to shoot. Crowley still got it on Cage.
Like that scrappiness from O'Keefe right there. Even though he got knocked down, he didn't lose the ball, and then he was able to get it to Crowley for a last-second shot. Really like that grittiness.
Here's Paulus coming up a 6-point game. Shoots, and another save for Chiliano. Here comes San Diego running. Shumay with Dobie out of the box. Shumay, he'll let it go and get stripped from behind. That was Dilks who got back on the floor.
Tried to slow play it a little bit, maybe overthunk it a little too much. You got to go for that right away before those trailing defensemen get you, but still a decent effort.
Both offenses quiet so far. Good goaltending and another stop off the shot by Paulus. Merrill outletting ahead. Dobie catches off the shoulder of Bouquet. I don't know how he caught that with Jarrett Smith all over him. Here's Smith pushing things now. One of the better stories on the Rush coming out of the Manitoba Blizzard. Off the pipe and in. Austin Madronic scores. It's his first NLL goal, and it's 3-1 Saskatchewan.
A really interesting start for the Saskatchewan Rush right here, because I didn't expect them to shoot this ball. It looked like they were still trying to get some personnel on the floor, and I believe this is part of their game plan, because I think the San Diego defense was thinking what I was thinking. Okay, they're trying to get set, let's get organized, and that 1 foot of separation in box lacrosse is so dangerous, especially when you throw a bounce shot that goes bar down. Great placement, and opportunistic Saskatchewan Rush takes a 2-goal lead here.
Austin Madronic, the 23-year-old out of Victoria, British Columbia. They took him 6th overall last year, and he's got his first goal in the big leagues. So it's a little 3-0 run for Saskatchewan. They had 3 different runs of 4 goals or more last week in their blowout against Colorado. Now they'll work things through Keenan. Defended by Danny Logan, the short stick defender of the year twice in the PLL. Another shot, this time it's Church.
I can't stress the importance that Chiliano's doing a good job saving the outside shots. Those were falling against the Mammoth last week, and it allowed them to get all sorts of opportunities. So when you have a goalie that's stopping the outside shots, it's stopping the dam from breaking.
Dobie. Defended by Smith. 6 on the shot clock. They'll work the near side. 5 to shoot. Dixon spins it, and Bouquet kicks it away. Another one-shot trip. Credit to Saskatchewan. They're doing a good job controlling rebounds.
They really are. And even when they find their way into the sticks of the Seals player, they swarm. They're doing a good job of getting 2-3 bodies so that there's no additional opportunities for this offense.
It's a 3-0 run for Saskatchewan since San Diego opened things up on Trey Leclerc's goal 5 minutes into the first. Shot from Dinsdale. Long rebound. The shot clock violation means it's San Diego's ball. But offensively, the Seals just have not had much rhythm.
Oh, look, the shot clock's running down right now. Some players walking. I want to see movement earlier.
Well, this is the most time they've had to work with in a while. Crowley for Dobie, shoots and misses wide. Took 10 shots last week, scored just once. Now Crowley, the big cat. For Jackson, coming off a 3-3 game, and he turns it over. There's Kyle Rubish, who became the first player in league history to cross the 400 caused turnover threshold in his illustrious career. Now the Rush, chance to build on their lead. Keenan, defended by Shumay, works it back to Powless. Had an open man on the backside, but skipped the pass low for Church.
Well, Seals bailed out by some bad stick work by the Saskatchewan Rush, but something that's impressed me about this Rush defensive unit, not only are they dictating the pace a little bit, but they are getting their sticks in the passing lanes.
Dixon, and another one-shot trip.
Very early into the possession, even though that's a good look. Curtis Dixon's low to high shot. Well, seems like there's a little whip in his stick, as that's not as dialed as it usually is. Expect him to clean that up.
Church posting up on Holding. That's a great matchup one-on-one. One more. It was Keenan who got the shot away. Caught Mike McCannell, the rookie, sleeping for a minute. McCannell made his debut in the playoffs last year, coming to join the team in the West Conference Finals, but now officially a rookie. 9:27 to go in the first half. Saskatchewan 3-1 as Alex Bouquet having a fantastic first half. We'll have more after a quick break. Welcome back to San Diego. Rain Michaels is with Patrick Merrill between the benches. Maybe ask him if he's hungry, Rain.
Thanks, Cooper. Coach, some great saves by Frank all night. How do you get your offense back in this game?
I think it's just a matter of time. They're stepping up and pressuring us quite a bit. So it's learning how to deal with that and break the press so we can get some easy opportunities in behind them. But I thought our defense played really well, physical, closing gaps really well, but they execute at a really high level. They keep throwing the same stuff at you consistently and wait for you to make a mistake, and we made a couple, so hopefully we can clean that up.
Thank you so much, Coach.
Thanks a lot.
Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Rain. The Seals will start with the ball out of the timeout, and this offense needs to find something.
I think it starts with off-ball movement and setting harder picks. Look at how they're dictating the pace. Every defenseman is pressed out on their individual matchups. You can't let that happen.
O'Keefe couldn't quite get his hands free. Obviously so dangerous with the illustrious career he had at Penn State, shooting the ball better than anyone in the history of college lacrosse. The Rush on a little 3-0 run that spanned almost 20 minutes.
Not the exact opposite of what I expected. I expected a shootout.
Which is naturally why we've gotten what we've gotten. Here's Matthews shooting. Off the rebound, Church puts it in. On one end, Saskatchewan controlling rebounds well. On the other end, San Diego is not, and it burns them for the fourth straight Rush goal.
Got to be frustrating if you're a San Diego defenseman. Mark Matthews gets a shot off that goes over Frank Chiliano's right shoulder. And just like you said it, Cooper, that is an open rebound. And credit the craftiness right there, because he originally was about to shoot it right into Frank Chiliano's stick, does a quick pump fake, gets Frankie biting, and then finishes over the top. Very crafty stick skills. But again, I think the most important part was that he was wide open on the backside during a Matthews shot to collect that rebound.
First of the night for Church. 4 different goal scorers for the Rush. They had 4 different players with hat tricks last week, and now have outscored their opponents 22-7 in the first 5.5 quarters of the year. Working the far side. Now it's Matthews. And he has his pass picked off Leclerc, shot out of a cannon. He's pushing things right ahead, and Leclerc with Gamble. Leclerc scores his second of the night. And it's the patience for Trey Leclerc as he makes it 4-2.
What a great individual effort, and it starts on the backside of the defense. He gets his stick in the lane on Matthews, intercepts it, shot out of a cannon. Some of the fastest feet in the NLL. And you nailed it, Cooper. The patience throwing 1, 2, 3, 4 fakes, and then getting Bouquet to go up top before he buries it. A great individual effort, his second goal of the night, and we talked about it, the growth. That is not a goal that he would have scored in the second game last year, but this year is a new Trey Leclerc.
And that's so huge for them getting offensive production out of Leclerc because they're only playing with 6 forwards tonight. With Austin Stott still suspended for his second game. Now Doby has a look, and Bouquet able to sit on top of it. But to finish the thought, San Diego playing with only 6 forwards, if they can get Leclerc to produce coming out the back door, that changes that dynamic a lot.
Huge, as we see Patrick Shoemate having a great cause turnover. And I would say San Diego needs to have a good offensive possession and at least get a decent look in 5-on-5 right here.
Halfway through the second. Leclerc both goals for San Diego, 4 different scorers for the Rush. It's Berg. Dixon had his stick caught up on Connor McClellan and couldn't get free.
Little palms up from Westberg looking for a holding call right there, but Westberg and Curtis Dixon a little off on the timing. That's the second or third pass that Berg has expected Dixon to be there, so credit to this Saskatchewan defense for throwing off that rhythm.
Keying in a couple of points so far tonight. Going right at Gobrecht. Loses his footing. And now Church. 5 to shoot for the Rush. Dinsdale. And that hits all the way up into the rafters.
That'll fire the boys up. A Gamble getting in front of that shot, soaking one.
Jesse Gamble, a former All-Pro for the Toronto Rock. That's one thing San Diego did not do a lot of last year, soak up shots.
Oh, and it looks like it's his right knee. And interesting, we have a penalty on Wes Berg for holding the stick here.
So Wes Berg will go to the penalty box, and San Diego will have to run their man-down unit against Saskatchewan's perfect power play. 6 for 6 last week. Matthews, Church to his left. And their first possession is a wasted one. Leclerc thought about things for a minute. One thing San Diego did well last year is score shorthanded goals, 12 of them towards the top of the league. Had one last week, scored by this guy, Curtis Dixon.
He's so crafty, he has a little more clock to burn, but don't be surprised if something happens here.
Doby got a shot away, but that was Smith who came up with it. And now Crowley battling with Jared Smith. Shot clock violation, 1 on none. It's a goal. Matt Beers flying down the floor and makes it 5-2 on a transition power play goal.
If I had to describe this Saskatchewan first half, I would describe it as opportunistic. Matt Beers on a power opportunity realizes that this loose ball is going over half field, and he says, hey, I'm going to push transition. This is something that I know how to do, even though we're on the power play. This is my time to shine. Goes and throws a twister near side as he's diving and as his momentum is taking him far side. Throws that twister near side, beats Chiliano for Saskatchewan to get that 3-goal lead.
The big old handlebar mustache of Matt Beers. We saw him in the elevator today, and he is a big dude.
Yeah, I would want him on my team in a fight.
I don't think I would sign up to fight against him. I just let him have my wallet.
Have my lunch, have my wallet.
So Saskatchewan gets a power play goal. They're 7 for 7 on the extra man this year, and now lead 5-2 after Leclerc had cut back within a pair for the Seals. Rush on the road, went just 2-7 last year. Powless behind the back, couldn't get it all the way through. Of course, made Sports Center last week with something similar. Just over 5.5 left in the first half. Seals have not scored a settled goal on offense, both from Trey Leclerc, who handles now. Leclerc gets free. Doby working with Jackson. Right at Dilks. Doby flying in and missing the cage. It's a 3-on-2. Jared Smith. Smith stopped by Chiliano. But that's a scenario where they're dangerous.
Yeah, 3-on-2, and the entire team has the green light. I think that they're really going to be taking advantage of these situations as they have. But look for Dane Dobie to start finishing. He's getting some good looks. Need those to start dropping if I'm San Diego.
LeClaire was looking for a rolling Kevin Crowley. Saskatchewan fell behind 1-0, then ripped off 4 in a row. Teams have traded goals since then. Keenan spins a beauty of a pass. It's Messenger with the goal, and Keenan threading the needle to the far post.
One of the things that makes this Saskatchewan offense so lethal is their ability to make passes across the middle of the floor. We see him go up top and jumping with really good stick skills. Messenger, that is an impossible ask for Frank Chiliano, and this is not the first time that they've had that backside open. San Diego needs to do more organized on the backside and get their sticks in those passing lanes, because if Saskatchewan can get that consistently, it's going to be a long day.
Second assist for Ryan Keenan. He has 3 points tonight to lead all scorers. 6 different goal scorers for the Rush, as they're now tripling up the Seals. Working things through Casey Jackson, 10 on the shot clock. In the corner, Dixon. In the middle for Dobie. He gets his stick swatted by Rubish.
You know, that was one backside up pick and then a force feed into Dobie in the crease. I will continue to say that they need more. That second, third, fourth pick is when things are going to open up for the San Diego offense. Right now, they're a little impatient.
Church cross floor for Matthews. Back to Church. Gets hit hard by Berg, who is stuck back on defense. And you called it out earlier, Wes Berg doing a nice job staying back in some of these situations.
Staying more organized on the backside than some of the other San Diego defensemen.
And now back to the offense for the Seals. LeClaire working it through Crowley. Gets a pick from Dixon, draws the penalty, and Crowley, the big cat, Crowley spins it for Dobie. Dixon with 8 to shoot. Delayed penalty, San Diego gets the open attacker on. Dixon swatted away. And the shot clock expires. But the Seals head to a power play here. Two minutes for holding it against Mike Messenger. Get game day ready and shop your favorite team's jerseys and merchandise. Head to NLLshop.com to get all your National Lacrosse League and team gear today. We'll have more coming up here shortly. You're watching the NLL on ESPN Plus at tsn.ca. A sneak peek at the halftime show coming up in San Diego. Little youth lacrosse. For the big guys, though, San Diego heads to a power play out of the timeout. This is an opportunity for them to jumpstart a very stagnant offense.
Much needed. I have not seen consistent ball movement from San Diego, and what an opportunity to do it. I want to see 10 passes before a shot here.
Dixon, Dobie, behind the net, Jackson couldn't handle it. Shot clock halfway gone. Berg, Dixon. San Diego went 1 for 3 last week, 0 for 1 tonight. Dobie scores! It wasn't 10 passes, but it was 3, and it gets them a goal.
This is what I was expecting a little bit more of. You have a guy like Curtis Dixon who draws both Saskatchewan defenders, leaving Dane Dobie open. And again, it's only a matter of time. You have to keep going back to that well again and again. It comes up dry a couple times, but fear not, Dane Dobie's stick is too good to be denied another time as the lead is cut back to 3.
So the power play goal for San Diego cuts the deficit to 3 for the Seals. Dating back to last season, both Saskatchewan and San Diego struggled on the PK in this matchup. Both giving up 9 power play goals, well over 45% to the opponent. And a timeout called by San Diego.
I like that timeout call. You get a little momentum from that Dane Dobie deceptive, think it's going high, tuck it in that corner shot. So probably a chance to say, hey, if we're not taking advantage of the entire shot clock, let's take a timeout, get our 5 starters out there, and actually get some movement.
We have not seen the first half that we were expecting. The offenses have not been the story. The defenses have not struggled in the way that we thought they might. The transition has been the source of most of the scoring. If Saskatchewan's going to really put an imprint on this game and pull away here in the next couple of minutes, what do they have to do?
I think they have to do what's been working for them, which is take advantage of these transition opportunities. Again, I feel like I'm going to say the word opportunistic another time, but my goodness, they have a 3-on-2, they have a 2-on-3, doesn't matter, they're taking a shot.
Coming up in the Guaranteed Rate halftime report, some player insights, and a coast-to-coast Week 1 feature, plus first half stats and highlights. Not as many highlights as we were expecting, as the defenses have been the story of the first half. Just 9 total goals from a pair of teams that combined for 33 of them a week ago. San Diego in the 5-on-5. O'Keefe lets it rip. And the Seals will not be able to track it down. It'll be an over and back. Final 2 minutes of the first half. The Rush scored 6 out of the last 8 goals after falling behind 1-0 a couple minutes in, and have been the better team in the first half in just about every facet. Ryan Keenan on the far side. That's in tight. Lintner got a shot away. Belgrave elevates for it, and he's pushing things with Shoemate, who is left with O'Keefe. Belgrave, he goes all the way, and Bouquet's up to the task.
Good individual effort by Drew Belgrave right there. Another really solid athlete. And look for San Diego to continue to do that while the offense remains stagnant.
But now Robert Church with the clock winding down under 1:15. Powless scored earlier. Dinsdale back to Powless. Steps into one, and Chiliano swats it aside. Now Gamble racing down the middle of the floor. No settled 5-on-5 goals for the Seals. 2 in transition and 1 on a power play. They were so good in 5-on-5 last week, as Crowley nearly gets them back on the board. But another one-shot trip is the Rush controlling just about every rebound. Messenger bodies through and lost his handle on it. Final 34 seconds.
Tell me if you've heard this. What a defensive play by Wesley Berg.
Yeah, Berg making a huge impact tonight. Getting back in transition and staying back a couple of times to play settled defense. So the Seals will wind the clock down. 4 seconds separating the game and shot clock. Dixon playing with Berg on the right side. Swings it for Dobie. 5 to shoot. Dobie has it stripped. Jackson gets it back. 3 on the clock. Steps and rips. And Bouquet kicks it up into the netting. So with 3 seconds left, the Seals will get a chance. Dobie beating Dixon at the buzzer. It's Bouquet with the save. So the first half ends in a little bit of a flurry, but Alex Bouquet stands on his head to make a couple of big stops, and the Rush go to the break with a 6-3 lead. You know, if you told me this is the first half we would have gotten 2 hours ago, I wouldn't have believed you.
I wouldn't have believed you either, and credit to this Saskatchewan defensive unit. They are not giving the offensive players for San Diego any room to breathe. They're mixing up the flow, and my goodness, Bouquet has had quite the first half.
Coming back with the Guaranteed Rate halftime report in just a moment. You're watching the NLL on ESPN Plus and TSN.ca. Stick with us. More after this. Another night in San Diego. It's December, but as you would expect, it's still beautiful.
One of the, when this franchise was announced a couple of years back, I know that as a player, this was one of the best locations that you could possibly travel to, especially if you're living in Saskatoon.
Well, there was a fun player poll that came out a couple of weeks ago that actually highlighted San Diego as one of the top 2 destinations players would want to be traded to. if they had to. Well, there's a guy who chose to come to San Diego, Dane Doby, and his Seals have a lot of work to do. They trail 6-3. They've produced nothing of substance at all on offense. I don't know where you start. They have a lot of things that they need to improve. What do you focus on first?
And if I'm offensive coordinator Josh Anderson, I think it just comes down to the very simple off-ball picks and making sure that the picks are landing. I feel like even little things like the Westberg to Curtis Dixon connection that's been so lethal when they're on the same team, the timing of that being off is because those picks aren't landing hard and creating the separation. The Seals need to create separation because the Rush have dictated the pace defensively all game long.
And the Rush have dominated the pace of play. They have 6 different goal scorers. They've done it in transition. They've done it in the settled offense. They have a power play goal and their 1 power play opportunity. For the Seals, Frank Scigliano has been mostly good, but they've also just asked a lot of him because the Rush are doing a good job passing to the backside and forcing him to move side to side.
And I think, to highlight Frank Scigliano for a second, I think one of the reasons why the floodgates opened against the Colorado Mammoth last week and why Saskatchewan was able to really take him to the cleaners was because the Colorado goaltenders were letting up outside shots. I think Frank has done a very good job stopping those outside shots and forcing that ball movement, because if he was giving up some of those outside shots, Cooper, it could be an ugly game.
For the Seals and the Rush, each trying to move to 2-0 in the year. And this game, like we talked about at the top of the broadcast, has the potential to mean a lot at the end of the season, right? These are 2 teams we expect to be towards the top of the West Conference, if not at the top. Tiebreakers are almost always a factor. They play 3 times. Someone's got to win 2 out of 3, and just because it's week 2 doesn't mean it doesn't matter.
Couldn't agree more. And let's not forget, I'm not going to make any excuses for anybody, but this is the second time that these 5, Crowley, Dixon, Berg, Doby, and Casey Jackson have all gotten on the floor. Not to mention you get Austin Stotts back week. So I'm kind of curious to see what they're going to be doing coming out of these first couple possessions, because I know that it would be off-ball picks for me, but let's see what offensive coordinator Josh Anderson has in store for these fans here tonight.
Well, they'll need their captain, Brody Merrill, to help guide them into better position here. The Seals did have a nice third quarter last week against New York. They used a 5-1 run in the third to take a 13-7 lead that they then had to hang on to down the stretch. But credit to Saskatchewan, so far through 6 quarters of lacrosse, they've outscored their opponents 24-9 and have been dominant.
I mean, I'm not sure what to be critical of, if I'm a Rush fan, pretty good start to the season here so far.
They'll have the first possession of the second half and throw it away.
Good job by Danny Logan there. An American, especially on the defensive side of the ball, struggle when they get it in their stick. I know that was, certainly an area in my game that lacked. So good for him for keeping possession there.
Yeah, Logan had a nice first half with 4 loose balls. Far side, Dixon, scoreless so far tonight after 5 last week. Trying to get his hands free. Dixon in tight. Dixon, Bouquet again. Has been everywhere tonight. Alexis Bouquet, 21 out of 24.
I like that Dixon demanded that he got to the middle of the floor there, even though Bouquet ended up making the shot. I like that was in a vulnerable area of the floor and not just an outside, kind of shot in the dark. As we see good pressure from this San Diego defense.
Belgrave who took it away, and now the Seals will get another possession with Matt O'Keefe trotting things in. The Seals' settled offense produced nothing in the first half. 2 transition goals and a power play goal. Other than that, they were stonewalled. Getting a little bit of the taste of what Colorado got last week. Doby scored in the first half in a power play. Goes face first into the boards. Pushed by Messenger and is slow getting off.
Boy, they've been playing extremely physical.
Doby's not even making an effort to get back. So they'll play 4-on-4 on this end. Here comes Logan with another loose ball pushing ahead. Still trying to crack the seal in the second half. Saskatchewan, a dominant first half performance here on the road. Trying to have a better performance away from SaskTel Center than they did last year when they went 2-7. In tight, Leclerc couldn't get the hat trick.
That's much better off-ball movement, though. Westberg set a seal pick. Trey Leclerc did a C-cut towards the middle of the floor. It ended up being a good look, again, in the lethal area. You need consistent looks there if you're San Diego. Good start to the second half here.
Church scores! second for Robert Church. And the Rush widen it back out to 4 at the 12:45 mark.
And just like I was talking about a good seal pick to create space, we see Matthews get the ball in his stick. There's a seal pick that was just off screen that created the separation to get an open shot, hands-free, eyes-free. That is too tall of an ask for Frank Scigliano to stop that in that middle of the floor lethal area. There is more net to aim at, more chances to score. And you saw Graydon Bradley kind of frustrated that he let that happen. Look for San Diego to try and bounce back.
Well, the Rush win the faceoff. Messenger gets it over to Matthews. So 6 different goal scorers, accounting for 7 tonight for the Rush. Church the first to double up. Near side, Dinsdale coming off a big game for Saskatchewan. Back in the fold after a year away in Vancouver. Matthews stopped that time by Scigliano. Kind of caught him on an in-between hop.
And that's tough as the Seals bring the ball up the floor because you have to respect that shot from Matthews. There might have been an open step down across the floor, but now you have to respect that and go out and try and get on his hands.
Crowley trying to get the middle. Picked off by Rubish as he's forced 2 turnovers tonight. The 7th time in 9 games he's forced multiple turnovers. Smith pushing in. Smith scores! Jarrett Smith, his first goal in the NLL at age 27 as a rookie.
The pace of this game is being dictated by the Saskatchewan Rush. They get the ball up the floor quickly. As their offensive players sprint in, the Seals players have to respect that, and they give up this shot saying, we would rather give this one-on-none shot up than a cutting offensive player. The pace being dictated allows these open shots that the Rush had taken advantage of all night long.
Now Messenger has an opportunity with Kidd the third. That was McCannell who got back to cut him off on defense.
Smart decision not to shoot there, and now we're going to see a little bit more of a settled look, albeit with the short shot clock.
Yeah, 12 seconds in the shot clock. Keenan for Church. And it's picked off by Schumann. San Diego's settled offense still looking for their first goal of the night after putting up 10 in 5-on-5 last week in New York.
And that's just shocking. They haven't had a settled goal. That's shocking, and credit to Sask's D.
Dixon trying to change that. Working on Holden Garland. Somehow keeps possession and then throws it away. The shot clock's going to expire on San Diego. And another empty possession in which they didn't even make a pass.
No, the Sask D does a good job swarming. You have to try and escape that double team so that you can get the ball out of your stick. But they're doing such a good job, almost like a Venus flytrap, just suffocating the ball carrier, that there wasn't an opportunity to get it out of his stick.
Matthews on the perimeter. Now Madronic, who scored in the first half, whistles it high and wide. Keenan, a goal and a couple of assists. Over to Madronic. Now Matthews at the point, spinning it in for Dinsdale. And Merrill pushes him aside as Logan collects his 6th loose ball. First 2 goals of the second half belong to the Rush. They've opened up a 5-goal lead, which is the largest of the night. Crowley looking for help. Now it's Jackson. Back to Crowley with 8 to shoot. Going to Jarrett Smith. Whistles it wide and missed everything. Another shot clock violation upcoming. And at 9:52 left in the third, the Saskatchewan Rush have come out of the break in control as Frank Scigliano and the Seals reeling. We'll have more coming up after a short break. You're watching the NLL on ESPN Plus and TSN.ca. Follow the NLL on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube for all the latest content all year long. Search at NLL Now. Well, that look kind of gives you an idea of how the night has gone for the Seals. Really struggling to find any kind of rhythm on either end of the floor.
I mean, they need to press out and disrupt the rhythm of this Sask offense.
Madronic on the near side. Rookie scored in the first half. Madronic trying to find Lintner, feeds, and Lintner's shot goes wide.
Nice hit by Gamble right there.
Jesse Gamble bringing a little something different to San Diego's defense. More athleticism, also some physicality. To the Seals offense, still nothing to show for their 5-on-5.
And most of the 5-on-5 possessions have been individual efforts. You see Curtis Dixon trying to beat a double team. You see Crowley trying to get to the middle. Let's see if that's what happens again here.
Crowley going at McClellan. And some help from Boudreau, the rookie who strips him. And another empty possession without so much as a shot. So one of the league's best offenses last week, and perhaps the most talented unit, has been completely shut down so far tonight by Saskatchewan. Church, a couple of goals tonight. Tight defense from Belgrave, who stripped him. Still loose, 10 on the shot clock. Church got it back, and Church in a dangerous spot, but Chiliano swallows it up.
Wow, the stick skills exhibited by Church right there to regain possession, have two defensemen all over him, and still get a shot off. Unreal.
But even a bad possession for the Rush gets them a good look.
I was just about to say how good Drew Belgrave was playing on that, and then it winds up being a great look. You nailed it right there.
O'Keefe steps and fires it into Bouquet.
And Bouquet's positioning just eats up so much of that cage. He didn't move and neutralized O'Keefe's shot.
Messenger gets it ahead. Dilk scores! 9-3 Saskatchewan, and this one's teetering on the brink of getting out of hand.
One of the things that Saskatchewan has been doing so well is trapping offensive players from San Diego. We see Westberg a couple times, but the offensive player that was on Dilks ran off of the floor, leaving a 2-on-1 between Messenger and Dilks, and yet another 1-on-none in transition. You can only ask Chiliano to stop so many of them, but a great look, heads-up play to take advantage of that odd man opportunity.
How about the balance from Saskatchewan? 9 goals by 8 different scorers tonight.
Fantastic, and it just speaks to the balance of their team, able to execute in transition offense. And again, I think the star of the night is the entire Saskatchewan defensive unit.
Trey Leclerc with the ball, the only Seal that's had any kind of productive night on offense. He scored 2 out of their 3. Dane Dovey, the other on a power play. Feels like it's been 10 minutes and San Diego had a quality look. Leclerc with space. Leclerc shoots. Leclerc. Not that time. And now racing down the floor, it's McClellan. Flips it back for Boudreau. Boudreau, McClellan, and that time Chiliano was able to cover it up.
Again, this defensive unit from Saskatchewan, as soon as the ball is in their stick, they are racing up the floor and take advantage of a 3-on-2. 3 defensemen for Sask versus 2 offensive players for San Diego. Interesting situations here.
O'Keefe was looking for Jackson and missed him. 10 on the shot clock. Berg. It's Dixon. Defended tightly by Beers. Gets doubled by Messenger, who sends him to the floor. And Dixon's shot gets blocked. It looks desperate right now.
It does. The physicality that the Rush have brought to this game is all the difference in the world. You see Dobie flying into the boards, Curtis Dixon getting hit. I am at a loss for words here.
Matthews, one-handed feed for Dinsdale. Up top, Powless. One more to Dinsdale. Underneath, Dinsdale. Turns it back around. Shot clock at 7. Now it's Keenan right into Chiliano's chest. Didn't make him work very hard that time. San Diego's defense is trying to hang in there.
They have glimmers of hope. That was a pretty good defensive possession right there for San Diego. They're doing a better job matching up. It's just now the transition is coming back to bite them in the rear.
Crowley steps in. Swims over Dilks. Feeds Leclerc. Whistled it wide that time, and a long rebound. An opportunity for Boudreau. He and Trey Leclerc end up in a bit of a train wreck. And an over and back. called before Boudreau able to get onto it. Boudreau's given them some nice minutes tonight. Just a young guy out the back door.
It really is. It's tough to identify a Rush player that's having a bad game right now, to be honest.
Another look from Keenan. Church gets it back, and Church couldn't put it away that time as he ran out of space.
It's the difference in space between the defense and the offense. Right now, Saskatchewan is swarming and choking the San Diego offensive unit. Meanwhile, even on the backside of that shot right there, they have all the space in the world to get these rebound opportunities.
Dobie off a pick from O'Keefe into the middle with 10 to shoot. Burns one in on Bouquet. Berg in a scrum, and it's once again Saskatchewan who makes it a one-shot trip. Ahead to Smith. Well, they've played good defense and they've controlled the rebounds. What more could you ask?
Not a lot. Those are two major factors.
Now Paulus over to Keenan. 10 on the shot clock. Merrill pokes out on him. Keenan trying to force it to Matthews.
And Drew Belgrave did a great job not letting any off-ball or seal picks get him into that middle of the floor. He standed firm and cross-checked the offensive player out of the middle of the floor. That's what you need to see more of.
O'Keefe in a bit of an ISO. Had Crowley who couldn't handle it. Once again, under 10 on the shot clock. O'Keefe, extra man to San Diego. Off the post for Crowley as they cannot buy a goal right now. Almost 11 minutes into the third quarter. The Seals have not scored since halftime as Alex Bouquet standing on his head. We'll have more coverage coming up after a short break. You're watching the NLL
on ESPN.
Oh, they need some kind of highlight in San Diego. The DJ always bringing the energy. 9-3, and Saskatchewan dominating, but the Seals have a power play coming out of the break. They are 1 for 2 tonight on the extra man. Went 1 for 3 last week. Dane Dobie scored their one power play goal in the first half. It's Dobie now. Dobie creeping. Berg, now Dixon. Dixon for Dobie. Dobie couldn't get the near side. It didn't get through, so the shot clock will not reset. O'Keefe has to get one off here. Dixon just fires from outside. The shot clock hits 0. That's Holden Garland slow to get up after the play. I think that shot from Dixon might have gotten a piece from him.
Yeah, maybe on the follow through. Sometimes even if the ball doesn't hit you, the head of the stick gets you somewhere. Hopefully he's okay. He's getting off on his own power. So
you just saw Jimmy Quinlan still perfect as a head coach, 5-0 in the regular season, and if you want to be crazy and count the preseason, you can. That's 3-0 as well. But tonight, his boys look like they're having fun and have played a top-to-bottom excellent game.
And catching up with him earlier in the week, that was a point of emphasis for him, is let's make it fun. And it seems that the players have certainly received that message and are looking like they're having a blast out there.
Off a screen, Keenan hums it outside. And the Seals will get another look with half the power play to work with. How close are we to the point where they need to score a goal in this power play before things start to get hairy?
Very soon. Anytime you have 3 goals close to the end of the third, the mental factor starts playing a huge role, and you put your palms up. What more can we do if you can't wrap it up right here?
Dobie to the backside. Crowley for Berg. Dobie rings the post. Fresh shot clock for the Seals. They haven't scored since 2:45 to go in the third when Dobie netted one on the power play. Berg hops it high and an over and back. So now the Rush can theoretically kill this thing. And they're going to say Matthews started things too soon, so he's going to have to pick it up and pull it back out.
And that was a big call, because the last thing you want right now if you're in a purple uniform is a one-on-none with Mark Matthews on Frank Scigliano.
So the Rush trying to work this thing down. They can kill all of it if they want to, and that's what Matthews is going to do. 2 goals for Robert Church, and then 1 for 7 other scores. Dinsdale has not been one of those guys yet after 3 last week. turns it over, and now Merrill pushing things ahead. The power play is killed. Bobby Kidd, the third, out of the box, and the Seals back on offense to their 5-on-5 where they've been held scoreless tonight. Berg couldn't end the drought. And another Lucy for Jarrett Smith, who's had a huge night. Scored in the first half, his first goal in the NLL. Now Church rips it past Giuliano. 10-3 Saskatchewan, and this one's teetering on a blowout.
I might sound like a broken record here, but on the turnover, they trapped Dane Doby on defense, which allows him to get his hands wide open, and the placement on that shot, there is nothing that Frank Giuliano can do. He has to play that angle. But again, the reason why that was set up is because they are being exploded out of a cannon, as we see Chris Origlieri making his Pechanga Arena debut.
Yeah, the second-year player, just 20 years old, went 1-0 last season in 5 games, put up 12.09 goals against average and a .698 save percentage. They love him within the organization, but he is still so young. For now, just giving Giuliano a break. And the Rush have possession off the face-off, having scored the last 4 goals. They had 3 runs of 4 goals or more last week. Now here's Matthews stepping into one.
And what confidence it gives the Sask offense when your defense has held what has been a very lethal unit in the first game to 3 goals as we stare the end of the third quarter in the face.
Yeah, they're pitching a shutout here in the third quarter. Doby's going to let the clock wind down a little bit. They have a full shot clock to work with. Not a lot of off-ball movement. That stood out tonight. Just a lot of stagnant play. Dixon, scoreless after 5 last week. O'Keefe finally breaks the drought.
Mac O'Keefe with one of the most pure and best shooting strokes. There's a reason he's the all-time NCAA goal scorer. And it's because of the deceptiveness of his shot, whether it's low to high, whether it's high to low. His body language is reading like it's going to go far side before he flicks his wrist down and goes 5-hole on Bouquet. Got him moving enough with the deceptiveness to open up a couple holes that he buries and saves the Seals offense from being shut out in the third quarter.
Dating back to last season, O'Keefe has scored in 6 out of his last 8 games. Syosset New York products getting comfortable in the box game as Dixon has the shot stopped by Bouquet, who has played an outstanding game tonight and continues his head-to-head excellence against the Seals. Beers scored in the first half, leaves it off for Dinsdale, and he'll run off the floor. Final 30 seconds of quarter number 3. The goal by O'Keefe snapping a 4-0 run for the Rush. Matthews defended by Shumek. Church couldn't get anything on it. And now Belgrave moving things ahead into a 2-on-2. Final 10 seconds of the third. It's Wes Berg up at the restraining line. Now it's Dixon. 1 second. Doby trying to get to Berg. And the third quarter ends without a shot. So Saskatchewan takes a firm control over the game here in quarter number 3. Alex Bouquet continuing to play excellent lacrosse, and we're headed to the final 15. You're watching the National Lacrosse League on ESPN Plus and TSN.ca. The final 15 after a short break. Oh, there's an inflatable baguette getting thrown around the arena, and, you know, it's about as good of the passing as we've seen tonight.
That's a good line, and as we see Dilks walk off here, that's certainly significant. Hope he's doing okay.
Yeah, Dilks has had a nice night, scored a goal earlier. He's the team captain for Saskatchewan.
And he's a tough man, so...
Well, the Rush dominated the third, and it was more of the same from half number 1 into half number 2. Every phase of the game, they've been the better team.
It's tough to find what Sask is doing poorly And conversely, it's tough to find what San Diego's doing well. But keep in mind, Dane Dobie coming off of this short side bench could be the spark that they need, because that's something they've relied on in the past.
Well, they have to dig out of a 6-goal hole and have not been a good fourth quarter team the last year and change. They're trying to get their offense on with 20 to shoot. O'Keefe, who handles now, just scored the seal-breaking goal, ending at a 15-minute goal-scoring drought for the Seals. Dobie with a penalty away from the ball. Here comes an extra man as Riglieri runs off. In tight, it's a goal! Second of the night for Mac O'Keefe. And leave it to the New York boy to get a little spark.
This is a great shift from Mac O'Keefe. He not only draws the penalty, but known as an outside shooter, that far side fake, bringing it back near side as he's falling into the crease. Just like we were talking about the evolution of Trey LeClaire. Watch out, ladies and gentlemen, because if Mac O'Keefe can get crafty around the crease and add that to his bag consistently, he's going to be quite the player, and that could be a great spark for this team, as Mac O'Keefe is not known to finish like that. Maybe bring a little juice to the rest of the boys.
Another penalty. This time it's Gobrecht who draws it, and San Diego's going to have a chance at a 6-on-5 if they can get organized. Well, if you wanted to let them back in the game, this is the way to do it.
2 penalties back-to-back. Watch out.
Up top, Berg and O'Keefe. It's Berg. Crowley off a pick from Dixon. Dobie spins it into O'Keefe, who flings it up off the boards. And the shot clock expires as we're headed to a power play for San Diego. Holden Garland is going to head to the penalty box. He gets Eli Gobrecht with the cross-check up around the chest. Yep, gets him up around the chin.
Yeah, pretty tough there. When you go to get a loose ball, a lot of times you're bending over and trying to get your body low. So if you're going for the chest on a cross-check, very well could sneak up and get the chin.
All right, San Diego's power play 1 for 3 tonight. What do you want to see differently this time?
I want to see them try to get Bouquet moving. So whether it's a deceptive shot when Dane Dobie has his hands free, he's hit post 2 times, or ball movement, I just want to see Bouquet moving, because that's when San Diego can score.
They've scored once in 3 power plays tonight. In tight, Dixon puts it off Bouquet and finishes on the rebound. Curtis Dixon with a little bit of an eye, look what I found, and puts it past Bouquet.
We talk about Curtis Dixon's speed and agility, but don't forget he is one of the best ball handlers in this league. Dane Dobie throws a crafty behind the back pass. Bouquet makes that left shoulder save, but Dixon scoops up that rebound, has the entire net to shoot at, and buries it low. And watch out, don't call it a comeback quite yet, folks.
Well, don't go to bed yet either.
No.
If there's anything we've learned about this building, it's that it doesn't have quiet finishes. Games at Pechanga Arena have a funny way of coming down to the wire.
And as far as fourth quarters go, this is the start that San Diego desperately needed.
Well, don't forget the comeback that they had against Saskatchewan in this building last year. Won it 10-9 on Jeremy Noble's putback with 2 seconds on the clock in regulation. Shot from Dinsdale goes wide. Matthews kicked aside by Origlieri. A 2-on-1 loose ball. Matthews trying to beat Logan and Gobrecht for it. And finally it's Belgrade who comes up with it. So the Seals have scored the first 2 goals of the fourth quarter, not even 2.5 minutes in. And still with plenty of work to do, trying to get their 5-on-5 offense kick-started in the final 15. Dobie for Berg. Berg scores!
Wesley Berg has had quite the game, highlighting his athleticism, whether he's caught on defense playing well or he catches this feed. And to make sure that he gets this goal, he leaps off of his feet so that the angle of his stick is over the back of Alex Bouquet. Look at that right there as he dunks it over that right shoulder. That has been so good for Bouquet all night. Wesley Berg, ladies and gentlemen, don't forget that name anytime soon as the Seals control the faceoff.
Danny Logan has been a menace on loose balls tonight as he gets it stripped out of his stick from behind. And Garland collects it and gets it ahead to Searle. But 3 straight goals for the Seals. 4 goals in the last 3.5 minutes for San Diego, dating back to the third. That's after they went 14.5 without scoring. Church wings it off of Riglieri, and he wants to get one out and run. LeClaire with 2 goals in the first half, pushing things. Looking off the bench, it's Crowley, had his shot deflected.
Great job getting in front of that shot, utilized the entire body and took away any chance of Crowley's shot hitting the cage.
And LeClaire from his backside gets a pass across the floor. Seals only 10 seconds on the shot clock. They'll do well to even get a shot away. Dixon, 1 goal tonight, steps and beats Bouquet again. Wake up the kids, we've got a lacrosse game in San Diego. So Dobie, with assists on the last 2 goals, has now crossed 500 in his career. Curtis Dixon has his 2nd goal of the night. And San Diego has 5 goals in 5 minutes to pull themselves back within 2.
What Saskatchewan was doing a good job of early in the game was getting out and getting on the hands with a low shot clock, giving Curtis Dixon the time to wind up, see where Bouquet, his body positioning is, and then tuck it into that far side as we see Bouquet head to the bench.
So now Eric Penny is going to come on and relieve Eric Bouquet. Penny last year a midseason acquisition, landed in a trade from Philadelphia, and was excellent in this building against San Diego on March 11th. Went 40 out of 50 that night. Of course, though, that was the comeback. That was the night that Jeremy Noble beat them with 2 seconds left. Now San Diego trying to dig deep and replicate that. Now Shumay with a takeaway. Dobie waiting to get out of the box.
The sticks on San Diego's defense and offense have woken up. That's a great poke check from Patrick Shumay for the cause turnover.
Westberg. Now it's O'Keefe who scored twice. Dobie with a goal and a couple of assists. Gets pushed aside by Smith. A penalty. Dobie couldn't get it to go. A fresh shot clock and an extra attacker on for San Diego as they'll settle things down and use the full 30. So Crowley comes on. Dixon has it. Crowley to his right, Berg to his left. Skips it, O'Keefe spins it past Bouquet! Grip it and rip it back, O'Keefe. It's a 1-goal game.
I was mentioning how Matt O'Keefe's shot is deceptive. First off, look at Westberg telling everybody calm down. Let's make sure this is a good look. Matt O'Keefe gets it. Everything about his body positioning, everything about his hands and his wrist is screaming low. You see Penny drop to his knees before that little ding-ding elevator, low to high, burying it in that top right corner. This is the San Diego offense that we were hoping to see.
First career hat trick for Mac O'Keefe, as he has been the spark plug that's lit San Diego's offense to life. It is a 6-0 run for San Diego. Or they're 5-0, I should say, as they've pulled back within 1 after trailing 10-4 to start the 4th quarter. This has all happened in not even 5 minutes. So Saskatchewan suddenly on their heels. Matthews saved by a Riglieri. And the kid giving them a little bit of a boost as here come the Seals running again. It's LeClaire pushing things. So the Seals, who trailed by 6, could tie it with a goal. And a moving pick takes out a couple of rush players, one of whom is Kyle Rubish.
Might have been some knee-to-knee contact, a little friendly fire. It looked like that moving pick might have had 2 Saskatchewan defenders.
So Dixon sends a defender into Rubish's legs. And this is as tough of one to watch.
As we see Curtis Dixon push off, kind of caught him, and we really hope that
I mean, this is one of the best to ever do it, Kyle Rubish.
He really is, and you cannot say enough about not only his career, but the kind of teammate he is.
I just hate to see this. I really do.
So Kyle Rubisch down on the floor as San Diego, if you're just joining us or stepped away for a while or took a nap, which you frankly had the right to do the way the game was going, San Diego has scored 6 in a row over a span of 5 minutes and 10 seconds to pull themselves within 1 with 10:09 left to get another look at that collision. So the screen from Dixon.
As we see him fall into his own teammate.
Yeah, that was
not malicious.
Jeremy Searle into him. And Rubisch, I should say. Dilks already left the game, and we have not seen him return. And now Rubisch will join him. So a couple of significant injuries for Saskatchewan. And if you're Jimmy Quinlan, you're getting your first real test as a head coach. You know, you're 5-0. Suddenly, things are upside down.
It's tough because speaking on behalf of everybody that's ever been on a lacrosse team or ever been in sports, seeing one of your teammates go down is one of the most gut-wrenching feelings you can have as we see Alex Bouquet return to the net. So it's really going to be up to him to re-motivate his players.
Yeah, that was a very short stay for Eric Penny. Saw one shot, gave up a goal to Mac O'Keefe, and back comes Alex Bouquet, who played 3 phenomenal quarters.
He really did. Don't let that short break deceive you. I would still say that Alex Bouquet is one of the main reasons why Saskatchewan is winning right now.
If you're just joining us, the Rush dominated the third quarter and opened up a 6-goal lead after going to halftime up 6-3. San Diego's offense was non-existent as Origlieri kicks a shot aside. And a takeaway off Belgrave's strip. But San Diego's offense has been ignited by 3 goals from Mac O'Keefe. And Dixon will handle as they have a chance to tie the game at 10. Doby, a goal and a couple of assists tonight, gets a screen. Works it for Jackson, had it knocked away by Kidd the third, and Jackson takes it away from him. Though a fresh shot clock for San Diego.
What a play by Casey Jackson.
Oh, and Crowley rings the pipe, but Bird ties the game at 10.
Kevin Crowley with an absolute missile that rings off the pipe. It appears that Bouquet did not know what happened because he was frozen looking at Kevin Crowley. I don't know if he thought it was in the net or what happened, but as we see Westberg collect the ball, Bouquet is looking around and leaving the entire goal wide open for Wesley Berg to finish. What a series of events.
Second of the night for Berg, and that's an interesting sequence because Crowley's looking at the shot clock thinking it's about to expire because it did not reset even though Bobby Kidd III had controlled possession for Saskatchewan. So in that instance, it might not have been a necessary shot. To credit to Crowley, the clock said 4. It did not reset, but that desperation shot leads to the opportunity for Berg, and we're all tied up as San Diego has come back from down 6 to start the 4th. Not even 7 minutes in the quarter number 4. So Dixon, in tight, it's Jackson, and San Diego leads for the first time since it was 1-0. What is going on at Pechanga Arena?
And now we're seeing the bag of tricks that this San Diego offense, Casey Jackson, the lefty, goes to the opposite side of the floor, catches a ball and throws a twister that beats him 5-hole. If you're wondering why is he so open, because he's not supposed to be on that side of the floor. Lefties need to play on the other side. Well, hey, sometimes the best thing you can do is have a little desperation, throw some stuff against the wall and see what sticks. And here we go.
So the San Diego Seals have scored 7 goals in the first 6.5 minutes of the 4th. And now a penalty away from the ball means the Seals are going to get an extra man opportunity once again as the wheels are falling off the cart for the Rush. Dixon will handle and slow things down. He has Berg to his right, Crowley to his left. O'Keefe now up top handles the ball with a hat trick tonight. It's Berg. Tried to feed O'Keefe. He gets it back with 6 to shoot. Trying to work it through to Crowley. And San Diego will head to the power play as the shot clock expires. Well, The Seals have taken a lead and are heading to a 5-on-4 after a quick timeout. You're watching the NLL on ESPN Plus and TSN.ca. Welcome back to San Diego, where upside down is the theme all of a sudden. And we're going to take a look at our Fanatics turning point because this game's on its head.
The Fanatics turning point is simply just the start of the fourth quarter, a 7-0 run to start the fourth quarter. And I really think it starts with guys like Mac O'Keefe working hard off ball to draw penalties, getting their players, getting their guys open, and then, of course, the athleticism of guys like Berg, Crowley's hands. What a run.
Of those 7 goals, they have a power play goal and a 6-on-5 goal. They now head back to the power play for the 5th time tonight, where they've gone 2 for 4. They've scored the last 8 goals, and as my partner Nick Acello said, 7 in a row to start the fourth quarter. Saskatchewan led 10-4 entering the fourth and had controlled the first 3 quarters in dominant fashion. But suddenly everything's different. We got a ball game in San Diego. Berg, Dixon, Doby steps in, and that's Penny in the net now, who came on during the break for the 2nd time tonight, steers it aside. Berg, Dixon creeping in. Dixon had it stripped, and now Jackson will collect it with 5 seconds in the shot clock. Doby for Berg. Now it's Jackson. One more. Dixon beat Penny again, and mayhem is unleashed. It's an 8-0 run.
You want to talk about ball movement and selfless offense. Doby up to Berg, back down to Jackson. You have to respect Crowley in the middle, and then Dixon with the very deceptive near side low to high after Penny had to go right, left, a little bit out of position, and that is the ball movement that had been missing in the first 3 quarters. This offense is now firing on all cylinders, and what a joy to watch.
The shots are falling. That's 3 for Dixon after 5 last week against New York. He scored all 3 of those here in the fourth quarter. San Diego trailed 10-4 not even 8 minutes ago. We're halfway through the fourth, and they've put up 8 already in the quarter. Well on their way to setting a franchise record if this pace continues. They could break a league record. Who knows? Now Robert Church trying to slow things down. It's Keenan on the near side, defended by Logan. Matthews gives him a pick. 8 on the shot clock, a look in tight. Another save for Origlieri, who came on to relieve Chiliano and has been perfect. Oh, now the Seals will get their settled offense on and a chance to really put the pressure on, up 2 already.
Boy, now we're seeing high-level lacrosse. That was good defense by San Diego, but better stick skills to even get a shot off in the first place.
Dixon working with Berg. Far side now, Doby, shot clock under 10. Doby behind the back, O'Keefe. He already has 3, and a kick save for Penny. Smith and Leclerc going after it, and Boudreau comes up with it before getting crunched by Berg. Penny's out of the net. Berg has the ball, and San Diego has a fresh 30.
Wesley Berg with the individual effort that gives them another chance. Those types of plays win games.
Is there any player that does more without scoring on the Seals than Wesley Berg?
None.
Here's Doby, flips it in for Jackson, couldn't get it through as it touched off a defender. Near side, Holden Garland staying on for a moment. Now he'll get off the floor. Saskatchewan has not scored in the fourth quarter. Their last goal coming at the 1:42 mark, left in the third. That was Robert Church's 3rd of the night. Here's Church. And a moving screen gives the ball back to the Seals. Belgrave picks it up, and here comes San Diego. Leclerc with 2 in transition tonight. Leclerc will pull it out. 5.5 to play as San Diego has erupted for 8 in a row.
And a lot of it comes down to decision-making. Leclerc could have tried to take advantage of that one-on-one. He doesn't. He lets the offensive players come back out on the floor and get a possession.
Well, the Seals almost let last week's game get away from them in the fourth. This time a sliding save for Penny as he denies Dixon. This week they've used the fourth to get back into the game, which was something we never saw last year.
Never. This is a complete reversal of the scripts in the best way. And again, I think it was a little bit of desperation that forced them to get a little bit more creative.
Here's Keenan. Had a nice first half. Origlieri stays perfect. The 20-year-old kid comes off the bench and has turned into an anchor for San Diego's defense.
And the Rush are getting decent looks. Like, that was a good shot in a dangerous area of the floor. Credit to Origlieri.
Dixon with 3 tonight. All of them in the second half. All of them since the start of the fourth. Crowley saved that time. As Penny, who has relieved Alex Bouquet, starting to settle in a bit.
Penny's starting to make some good saves right there. That near side from Crowley is a dangerous shot. Penny stood the test.
Yeah, Crowley has been held scoreless tonight after 2 last week. Dinsdale on the far side, working on Jesse Gamble. Matthews steps in, feeds a pass and missed the goal. Keenan had a great look at it. And a penalty on San Diego, which we'll get to after a quick timeout. 4:01 to play in regulation. The Seals have scored 8 in a row. You're watching the NLL on ESPN Plus and TSN.ca. Stick with us for more. Play. And partner, they need something here to slow the Seals' momentum, having ripped off 8 in a row.
And what better opportunity than a power play, one of the best in the league, going 100% last week. And you have one of the best quarterbacks in the NLL, number 42, Mark Matthews. Let's see what they can cook up here. Origlieri is really standing on his head right now. That is a very difficult shot to stop as we have a 2-on-1.
LeClaire, big save by Penny. Keeps it at a 2-goal game. If you're just joining us, Saskatchewan led 10-4 entering the fourth quarter. And since then, San Diego's offense has come to life. They've scored twice in the power play, a hat trick in the quarter for Curtis Dixon, and still nothing to show on the offensive end for the Rush. Matthews skips it. Origlieri made the save, but it sneaks past him. It's the first of the night for Dan Lintner, and it's the run stopper finally for the Rush.
Bringing it within a 1-goal game, it's no surprise that it is a beautiful pass from up top. Impossible ask for Origlieri as we see Matthews thread that needle with the no-look pass. He's so deceptive with that. And again, valiant effort, he got a piece of it, but going from top center to backside right shoulder pipe is too much for the young goaltender as the ball trickles in, and a 1-goal game. Every time in this arena, I swear, it just comes down to a 1-goal game.
Well, Lintner his first of the night after 4 last week, and now the Rush can tie the game. Messenger moves it one more. Origlieri the save. Gobrecht does nicely to get on top of it. With 3:12 left in regulation, the Seals leading by 1 will take over. But how about the kid, Chris Origlieri, in net?
The 1 goal he's given up was an impossible shot to stop, or darn close to it. What a performance.
Now coming off the bench to relieve Frank Chiliano. Here's Dixon, a fourth quarter hat trick. Shot clock under 10. Dixon flips it back. It's Crowley. Berg tried to swat it in, and it's a fresh shot clock after the save by Penny as Crowley will pull things out.
And you just notice how many second chances the Seals offense has gotten in the fourth quarter.
Stark contrast to earlier in the game.
100%. Night and day, black and white, however you want to describe it.
Seals chewing the clock a little bit. Shot clock halfway gone, under 2.5. They've scored 8 out of 9 goals in this fourth quarter to come back from a 6-goal deficit. They've trailed by as many as 7. Dixon spins inside, tries to split a pair. Flipped it back to Berg, but stepped on the line. Here comes Boudreau. And the Rush will slam on the brakes. Church, 3 goals tonight to lead the Rush. Now it's Matthews, who has not scored, despite the fact they've had 8 different goal scorers. Under 2 to play, San Diego trying to finish off a massive comeback to move to 2-0 and send the Rush home wondering what hit them. Of course, this is a game that has the potential to be very significant at the end of the year when tiebreakers come into play for things like home field advantage. Doby, hands free, tried to sting the far corner and missed everything. Final 80 seconds of regulation. It's a 1-goal game. Dinsdale moves it for Keenan. San Diego's defense staying tight. Keenan shoots, and Origlieri stones it. Steers aside another. He's given up just one since coming on for Chiliano. It was a power play goal. And a timeout called by Jimmy Quinlan in Saskatchewan with 61 seconds to play in regulation. It all comes down to the last minute, which if you told me that 20 minutes ago, I wouldn't have believed you. Yet here we are. If you're Jimmy Quinlan, if you're Patrick Merrill, what are the things you're saying to your team?
If I'm Jimmy Quinlan, I'm saying, listen, we have the pieces. We know that we can score in bunches. Let's get the ball to Matthews and let him distribute. He has the best vision, and we've seen him throw some laser passes. And conversely, if I'm Patrick Merrill, I'm saying, let's prevent the easy assist. Let's prevent that ball from going through the heart of our defense. So get your sticks up, pack it in tight a little bit more, and we would rather give up a step down shot from outside with a clear view for Origlieri than a backside dip and dunk.
You just saw the two goaltenders for Saskatchewan a moment ago. Alex Bouquet started the game, was excellent. He's on the left. Then things got away from him in the fourth. He's been streaky his whole career and historically very good against San Diego, which continued for 3 quarters tonight. Then the wheels fell off the cart. Frank Chiliano also started the game and is no longer in. He was pulled for Chris Origlieri, who has surrendered just 1 goal since coming in, the 20-year-old kid out of Orangeville. The next generation of goaltender in the National Lacrosse League. Under a minute. The look and the tie. It's Church with his 4th, and we're evened up at a dozen.
Ironically enough, it looked like it was a great seal pick that really led to the difficulty for Origlieri to see this shot. So you have Mark Matthews with the ball up top, Ryan Keenan up top, and look at how much traffic there is potentially obstructing that view for Origlieri. You might get a decent look at it right here as he steps up and snaps that ball from up top down beneath the 5-hole of Origlieri. Great placement, great movement, a little traffic, a lot of things combined to tie this game up right there.
So now the faceoff matters a lot, which is not something San Diego is happy about. They were terrible with faceoffs last year. Danny Logan has been solid since he's come on. They're looking for Connor Farrell the next couple of weeks when he's back available, but right now this matters a lot. They're taking a look to make sure it's a good goal, of course, but faceoff all of a sudden makes a huge difference.
And you can see that San Diego's going with the defensive positioning here. You have 3 players defending the cage and only 1 player. Meanwhile, Saskatchewan is going 2-2.
So they confirm it is a good goal, which maybe not what the San Diego fans want to hear, but it shouldn't be a surprise to any of them.
No, and I will give Danny Logan credit. He's been doing a good job of scumming it up and turning it into 50-50 loose balls all night. And with the momentum, it's anybody's game.
He has not made it easy on Messenger. But possession matters a ton all of a sudden with 54 seconds left in a tie ball game. The Saskatchewan led by 6 to start the 4th. A timeout called by San Diego after Logan wins the faceoff cleanly.
A big faceoff when it looked like Messenger won the clamp, went to exit, and Danny Logan at the last second just kind of reached out, grabbed that ball, scooped it to himself, and Patrick Merrill with the very heads-up timeout. But credit to Danny Logan, in a time when the Seals have historically struggled with faceoffs, he goes and gets a big win.
So now you have an opportunity to set something up with a full 30 seconds in your entire offense on the floor. Where are you looking for San Diego to go?
I'm looking for them to switch sides of the floor, maybe initiate with the righties and then move it over to the lefties for a shot. I think that they've really done a good job when that ball movement is going through the Saskatchewan defense. And let's not forget that there have been some great individual efforts. So look for Curtis Dixon to initiate, look for Dane Dobie maybe to have the ball in his stick, looking to feed. But it's a good problem to have. Who do you want the ball with in the 4th quarter? I'm saying you want it in Curtis Dixon's stick.
From the end of the 2nd to the end of the 3rd, San Diego went 16 minutes and 51 seconds between goals. It wasn't until Matt O'Keefe with 54 seconds left in the 3rd pulled the game within 10-4. It started what became an 8-0 run for the Seals. They took a 12-10 lead thanks to 3 in the 4th quarter by Curtis Dixon, a power play goal and a 6-on-5 goal. And now we're tied up after Robert Church nets his 4th. This building is a wild one. Doby, big save by Penny, and a one-shot trip. Oh, the loose ball's still free. And Messenger bodies his way through for it like the fullback he's built like, and then throws it away. And now San Diego can hold it for the last shot. 3 seconds separating the game in shot clock as we're heading down to the final seconds in San Diego. I hope you didn't go to bed. It's Berg, 10 on the shot clock. Doby working with O'Keefe. Doby spins past Beers, looking for help with 3 to shoot, and gets stripped from behind. I don't know about that, partner.
Hey, listen, let's chalk that up to some really impressive defense, but seeing San Diego resort to an individual effort, a little disappointing. It's, it's a certainly puckered moment. You're white-knuckling your stick. Would have loved to see a little bit more ball movement, maybe a team effort there. But all that's to say, we are going to overtime.
I can't believe that you just said we're going to overtime. This game was dead and buried a half hour ago. But we're headed to overtime. Both of these teams last year lost their only overtime game. I don't know what to say. This is a game that takes the words out of your mouth and takes the voice out of my throat.
Well, it's really difficult to pinpoint how this game could end because what we've seen over the 4 quarters, don't forget that the fourth quarter was just 1 quarter because we saw transition opportunities from Sask. We saw really good 5-on-5 settled. We've seen Mark Matthews distribute. We've seen good outside shots. And conversely on San Diego, we saw 3 quarters of a snooze fest, and now they have a flurry where they've shown that they can do everything right back. So, listen, how this game is going to end is anybody's guess, but glad that we get a little extra lacrosse here.
All right, so we might as well chat a little bit about the rules in overtime. We're headed to a sudden death, next goal wins situation. Starts with a face-off. There are timeouts, unlike another league that we know. Right?
Unlike another league, we're not going to mention any names.
The PLL, they got rid of face-off, got rid of timeouts, I should say. They did not get rid of face-offs.
Classic getting rid of timeouts in overtime.
There's Jimmy Quinlan trying to stay perfect as a head coach. 5-0 in regular season play. The Seals and the Rush, 2 teams we expect to be there to the end, going down to the wire. So it'll be sudden victory. First goal scored wins the game. And we'll send one of these 2 teams home happy. San Diego came back from down 7 to take a 2-goal lead in the 4th. The Rush then scored the last 2 to send us into extra time, and now Messenger wins the faceoff and will give the Rush the possession. The last time down, they took a timeout, drew up a play, and Robert Church beat Chris Origlieri. What do you think they're going to do?
I think they're going to try and get it into the hands of Mark Matthews, run some off-ball action, and look for a step-down opportunity.
Well, there's Matthews, defended by Shumeg. Matthews shoots. Origlieri stops it. He's going to throw the outlet pass. Oh, and it's knocked away. Great job by Beers getting back on the floor. Origlieri was trying to get it to Dixon and hit the home run.
Wow, what the stick skills exhibited by Beers to track the ball in the air as he's jumping and making sure he's not getting a penalty. Really impressive stuff.
Church, far side. It's Keenan, top side, defended by Merrill. Now Belgrade. Keenan, under 10 to shoot, flips it for Paulus, shoots, had it blocked, gets it back, spins something at the net, and now a Lucy out front. And Paulus nearly got it back before Danny Logan, who's turned into a vacuum cleaner tonight, wins it for San Diego.
Really good job by Brody Merrill to get in the shooting lane right there, preventing a shot on cage. That's what you can expect from the veteran in the biggest moments of this game.
Next goal wins the game. Dane Doby getting bodied in the corner by Bobby Kidd III. Spins it behind the back for Dixon. Crowley misses wide. Dixon. Oh, and the save by Penny. A wild sequence, and now Messenger forcing reverse transition. Going right at Berg, throws a stiff arm, goes down, and loses the ball. Here's Jesse Gamble.
Great effort by Mike Messenger right there, but maybe too much trying to beat the quadruple team. Probably should have pulled that out and made a pass as we get a timeout here.
Timeout San Diego. And that last sequence was just bananas.
Holy moly. The stick skills exhibited from Dane Doby's one-handed pass to Curtis Dixon, who throws it behind the back, Kevin Crowley scoops it up, misses it just high, and then Curtis Dixon threw a between-the-leg shot. If one of those went in, the roof would have blown off this place, but credit to Penny for staying in a good position that prevented that.
Huge coming off the bench tonight. All right, so out of the timeout, what are you expecting San Diego to do? Last time we saw them in a situation like this, they played hero ball and Dobie had the ball stripped.
Well, it's interesting because Dobie has been an initiator. We saw him right there go underneath, have one hand on his stick. And for those of you at home, 99.9% of the players, if they're making a pass with one hand on their stick like Dobie would, not a good look. But Dobie has the 6 skills to do that. So him being an initiator all night, look for maybe a set action where he goes underneath and throws it to a Westberg up top for a step down, but wouldn't be surprised to see Dobie initiate yet again.
Yeah, Berg scored twice in the fourth quarter. Curtis Dixon scored 3 times in the fourth quarter. Mac O'Keefe scored 2 of his 3 in the fourth quarter, as San Diego ripped off 8 for the 3rd time in franchise history in a single quarter.
It's like they might initiate with the righties as it starts with Dixon and Berg.
It's Berg going at Connor McClellan. They'll switch things up. Cut. It's Dixon, and it's over! Curtis Dixon ends it with his 4th, and San Diego comes all the way back from down 6 to start the 4th and sets the building ablaze.
This is the Berg to Dixon connection that we have been looking for. You have to respect Berg's ability to run and shoot as he goes uphill, but as that happens, it allows Dixon to sneak right inside as you look at a great play by Kevin Crowley to create that separation for Dixon, who buries it after a fake in the top right. Penny didn't stand a chance on a beautifully executed play. Crowley making the space, Dixon making the cut, Berg making the feed, textbook execution to send the San Diego Seals into a victory.
Curtis
oh my
Dixon,
goodness.
4 goals between the fourth quarter and overtime. Making sure this is a good goal. Dixon cutting in there. There's the jump.
His left foot was on the line, but it's a matter of did the ball cross the line?
It is good.
It's a good goal.
Give him a fist bump, Curtis Dixon. You earned it tonight. And that puts a bow on a 7-goal comeback for San Diego. Curtis Dixon ends it in overtime. Chris Origlieri off the bench gets the win. And Frank Scigliano supports him. How about the kid coming off the bench and putting in huge minutes for the Seals?
Some unbelievably good saves on some of the best shooters in the game when it matters most. Chris Origlieri, what a great performance that tees up some beautiful moments for the rest of his career.
The National Lacrosse League is brought to you by NLLshop.com, the Fanatics experience, officially licensed everything. Also by Guaranteed Rate. Now more than ever, you need the best. Speaking of the best, hard to pick who was the best player for San Diego tonight. You got one guy that threw a hat trick in and kickstarted the offense, another one who scored 4 in the fourth quarter in overtime to win it. So we thought let's have Rain Michaels talk to both of them. She is with Curtis Dixon and Mac O'Keefe.
Thanks, guys. Curtis, you scored the game-winning goal tonight. What does that mean to you in a comeback like this?
I mean, I don't know if I've ever really been a part of anything like that. That was pretty wild, and I mean, hats off to Riggs and our defense for stepping in and keeping us in that game. You know, they could have easily just kind of rolled over and let them run the score up, but they gave us an opportunity there in the fourth to come back and chip away, and obviously it worked out well for us.
Thank you so much, Curtis. And Mac, your first hat trick ever. What does that mean to you in a game like this?
To be honest, it's more about just the team coming out strong and coming out with the win. I think our defense definitely held it together for us. We definitely struggled a bit offensively in the beginning, but thanks to our defense and Rig back in goal there, we were able to figure it out.
Thank you. What an amazing comeback. Guys, back to you.
All right, partner, wrap this thing up one final time. The Seals scored 9 in a row, go from left for dead, not by just by everybody, by us. I mean, let's be honest.
Yep.
Let's own that one.
Hand up.
This looked like it was over. It looked like a blowout. Saskatchewan up 10-3, but then that guy, Matt O'Keefe, scores a big goal to ignite the offense, and the Seals come rolling back to score 9 straight. The sun sets on Saskatchewan tonight in San Diego as the Seals come from behind and score 9 goals from the start of the fourth quarter and win the game 13-12 in overtime. For Nick Acello, Rain Michaels, our producer Kimberly Booth-Higgs, our whole crew at Pechanga Arena, I'm Cooper Perkins saying thanks for joining us tonight. Until next time, you've been watching the NLL on ESPN+.
Mozzarella, look at this royal crispy fella. Sauce and cheese, crispy chicken, Italian royal is what I'm picking. BK, have it your way.
Hey, is that one of those $5 subs?
Yeah, but it's more like $7.
You can get a brand new Horn Kia for $5 a day.
Wow!
Come on down to Horn Kia in Gilbert today and get a brand new Kia for just $5 a day.
Lunch.
Arizona's best sports betting experience is at Desert Diamond Sportsbook. Your local sportsbook is available in person, online, or on the mobile app. It's fun and easy to make your picks anywhere. Then come in, place your bets, and catch all the action at the place you already love to play. And now with Wager on weekdays, you can score free food. Place a minimum bet of $50 Monday through Friday and get a $5 dining reward. Arizona's best bet, Desert Diamond Sportsbook.
People who come to cricket, stay with cricket.
I love how cricket has no hidden fees, no hidden charges. It's just predictable.
With cricket, I can stay in touch with my grandson as much as I want without being concerned that my bills go up.
The 5G is like fast. It makes sharing photos of our projects and video calls super easy.
Switch for the speed, stay for the savings. Smile, you're on cricket.
Darren Till,
Bryce Mitchell.
It's going to be a sight to behold.
I cannot wait.
We gon' level up.
Alex Ovechkin does it again. We have been privileged to watch the best goal scorer of our generation.
That is hockey.
Tuesday on ESPN.